Hello and welcome to my class again. Now, yesterday we have seen uh, the lesson, the race. In unit second, reading A, we have seen the race, that lesson, and I have given you there the 11 words meaning. But today I am going to give you the rest words meaning which I have prepared. So yesterday I gave you 11, and now I am going to give you from 12 to 27. Number 1 is graze, means number 12 actually. Next word is graze, which meaning to see continuously. Number 13 is patted, means clap by hand. Number 14 is paddle, which means walk on feet. Number 15 is applause, means to praise or glorify. Number 16 is zeal, zeal meaning enthusiasm or feeling of strong eagerness. Number 17 is bored, means that means head down. Number 18 is amazement, which means surprise. Number 19 is fretting, fretting means worry or worry unnecessarily. Fretting meaning worry unnecessarily. Number 20 is blush, which means sigh or redness on the face. Next is conviction, means strong belief. Next one is number 22, query, which means question. Number 23 is indeed, which means really. Number 24 is determined, which means decided. Number 25 is shallow, which means little path. And number 26 is valor, which means courage. And number 7 is screaming, which means shrill sound or high pitch of sound. So these are the words meaning. I hope you will be learning these words meaning, and this will help you understand the lesson very well. So yesterday we have seen that when Tarun he failed in his annual examination, his father was very angry on him, and then his friends also made fun of him. He was sad, and he was lonely. In order to overcome from his sadness and empty feeling, or from that sadness, he ran around the park. And while he was running for an hour in that hot day, in the when the sun was above him, then at that time an old man who was 60 years old, that person was sitting on a bench and he was watching that boy. He asked, why you are doing so? That we have seen. So the man who was sitting there, that man was the Olympic medalist who won the Olympic medal in 1960s. So that we have seen yesterday, and now we will see the other portions of that lesson. So that Ram Narayan, who was 60 years old, he says, I have been watching you for past 45 minutes, means for past 45 minutes Ram Narayan, he was continuously watching Tarun, because Tarun was he was running all around the park that time. So Tarun, he was blushed, it means he was feeling shy, because Olympic medalist, he is appreciating to Tarun. Now what happens here? You see, all you need to do is keep that passion burning in you and never give up. Have you joined some training school? Now here is also suggestion and a question by Ram Narayan. The suggestion is, Ram Narayan says that keep burning your passion and never give up. What you are doing, keep doing it and never give up. And there was a question by Ram Narayan, and Ram Narayan says to Tarun that have you ever, or have you joined some training school? Now Tarun smiled, and turned to depressed. He was smiling because he was appreciated by Olympic medalist, but he was depressed or distressed. It's because he was told about joining a training school. So what happened here? Tarun's smile turned to distress, and Tarun says, a training school is very expensive, sir, and I am unemployed. Tarun, he was trying to make a joke Tarun. That is why he says that I am unemployed. Now, he was feeling happy, but he was trying to make a joke even in that circumstances or in that condition. Now, but Ram Narayan, he was pretty serious. Ram Narayan, he was serious about this, and he says, I can train you if you want. Ram Narayan says to Tarun that I can train you if you want me to train you. Now what happens here? But I have one condition. Ram Narayan says, I can train you, but I have only one condition, and you have to fulfill that condition. Now Tarun says, what condition? He was in urgency, Tarun says, or in immediate necessity, he says. Who says? Tarun. He says, what condition, sir? Now Ram Narayan, he says, there is a race on the Children's Day at the Nehru Stadium, and the children of your age are participating in that race or in that competition. If you win that race, I will surely train you. Who says like this? Ram Narayan says to Tarun. And now Tarun confidently, he says, that is not a big deal. Who says? Tarun. He says that that's not a big deal. Why? Because Tarun, he had confidence on himself, says that I will, sir, I will surely win the race. And he heard himself say that with the complete conviction, means with a strong belief. Tarun, he says, surely, sir, I will win the race. Now, fine boy. Ram Narayan, he says, fine boy, it's my job to get you the entry pass or entry. It's my job to get you entry in the race, and remember, your job is to win the race. Now here is the contraction, we can say, or both of them are making promise to one another. What is that? Ram Narayan, he says, my job is to give you entry pass in the race or in that Nehru Stadium. But Ram Narayan also says that, boy, your job is to win the race. Now both of them are agreed to do. Now Ram Narayan, he asks, what's your name? Tarun, he says, Tarun Kapoor, sir. Now Tarun, he says, I will meet Ram Narayan, he says, Tarun, I will meet you here after 5 days to give you the participation card, and all the best, Ram Narayan, he says, and he left from the garden or from the ground. But what happens here? The next day brought a new ray of hope. New ray of hope means the next day brought a new hope to whom? To Tarun. And Tarun, let's say like this, that the next day, or that from that day, he was very curious, and the next day brought a hope for him, and he was completely changed, or he was trying to change. Let's see what he was doing. Next day Tarun got up early, and he had his milk, and before his mother finished his her query or her questions on what he was doing or what Tarun was doing, Tarun ran out and he went to the Nehru Stadium to check out all the details of the race. And when he went there, he checked all the details about the race, and he was very happy indeed, or he was really very happy. And then Tarun started preparing with zeal or with great enthusiasm, or he was very happy for the race. Now every day he would get up 4 o'clock in the morning, every day. He had only 5 days, and every day he got up early in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he ran 10 miles every day. He ran 10 miles every day. And in the evening, in the morning he got up 4 o'clock, and then he ran 10 miles. And in the evening, what happens here? He would time himself, means he has given himself the time, that according to the time, or in the time, he has to complete the 1,000-meter distance which he had prescribed, or which was decided for the competition. Repeating again, the next day brought a new hope for Tarun. because Tarun, he was very happy that if he win the race, he will be trained by Olympic medal winner. So Tarun, he started preparing himself with great zeal, with great enthusiasm, and every day he used to get up 4 o'clock in the morning, and he used to run 10 miles, and in the evening he had time himself. He was given time to himself, or he was preparing himself, that he has to complete anyhow 1000 meters distance which was prescribed by the in the competition. Now let's see. He wanted everything to be perfect. Tarun wanted everything to be perfect. Anyway, he wanted to win the race. Now, he wanted someone to back up him. Means he wanted someone to support him. Ram Narayan, he was only supporting, but he was only up to providing him the entry pass for the race. But he wanted someone to cheer him up, or to give him backup or support. So he told everything to his mother, and then what happened? Tarun practiced vigorously. It means energetically or with forcefully. Tarun, he practiced himself, and for 5 days continuously he prepared. And then after 5 days, he met Ram Narayan to collect his participation card. And then Tarun, he gazed at the piece of paper, the entry pass in that for that participation of race. When Ram Narayan, he gave to Tarun the participation card. The participation card meant a lot to him. It was much valuable for Tarun. And now what happened? No matter what he had to how he had what and he had to win his race, or how he has to win the race, it was not the matter, but he anyhow wanted to win the race. Now he wanted to show his father that he was not a really black sheep of the family. Now see here, somehow he thought about himself that he was a black sheep of the family, and he was thinking that other people, or the family members, the friends, everybody think about him that he is the black sheep of the family. Such kind of thinking he had about himself, by himself and by others. But what happened? So that he wanted to prove his father or his parents, that especially to his father, that he is not the black sheep of the family, or he is not the disliked person of the family. Now anyway, what happened? He could be good at something. At least he wanted to prove that he is not bad in everything, but he is good at least something else. Now what happened? Then came November 14. After taking the blessing of his mother, Tarun paddled, means he went to the stadium on foot. Now there was a huge crowd waiting to go inside of the stadium. Now Tarun entered the office, and where a signboard was there, and it was printed there that participants only, means that way was only for the participants. Now he entered by that way, and then with his heart beating faster every second, his heart was beating, because he could see in that stadium numerous of audience sitting and cheering for the participants. Now inside that stadium, there were 50 participants, and they were waiting for the race to begin. Now someone patted on his back, means someone gave a slight lap or slap on his back, and then that person who gave up or patted on his back, he said, "Hello Tarun." Now it was Ram Narayan who patted on his back, and he says, "All the best," and he said that with affection. And now what happened? Tarun, he smiled, but did not say a single word. He did not say anything. Now all the participants, including with Tarun, they all lined up, and then each one hoping to win. See, there were 50 racers or participants, all the athletes, they were hoping to win the race. Each of them had the confidence that I will win the race, and the family and the friends who were there in the audience, all of them were cheering for that particular boy or particular participant whom they knew. But what happens here? To his amazement, Tarun was also amazed, surprised. Why? Tarun saw his mother standing in the audience. So when Tarun he saw his mother standing in the audience, it's written, you know, when he saw his mother standing in the audience, the fear in his eyes, before he was scared, he was fearing. When he saw his mother, his fear changed into confidence. Why? Because there was someone to back up him, to give him boost up or support him. Now what happened here? The whistle blew and all the participants started off with all their might. Means all the participants who were there, all the 50 participants, when they heard the sound of the whistle, all the participants, they started off with their might, with their strength. And then all of them were determined. They had decided that I have to win the race. And Tarun was also hoping and believing that he would win the race. Now in the lead was the fastest of them all. Who was the fastest of them all? That was the Tarun. And then Tarun, he saw, when he started running, he saw himself ahead of everybody. And Tarun, when he saw that he was ahead of everybody, he felt so proud of himself.